Welcome to Royal Math Podcast. Here I'm going to explain a couple of the questions on the Activity 18 practice. First, let's look at question number 4. Question number 4 right here is a triangular prism. To the left of it, you can see in red, I drew a net of the prism. Here we can see that the dimensions of the triangles that make up the triangular prism is their side lengths are 3, 4, and 5. So there's two different ways we can find the lateral area. First way we can do is lateral area equals perimeter of the base times the height of the prism. So the perimeter of the base, well, the sides are 3, 4, and 5. So 5 plus 4 is 9, and 9 plus 3 is 12, so we know the perimeter of the base is 12. And then the height is the distance between the two bases, so it is 4 inches. So we know that the height is 4. All right, so now what we do is we multiply 12 times 4, and of course we get 48. So we know the lateral area equals 48 inches squared. All right, now the other way we could have done it is we could have came over to the net right here, and for each of the lateral faces here in the middle, we could have done our formula, area equals length times width. So when we do that, we have on the very top lateral face, we have 4 by 3. So 4 times 3 equals 12. The next one, we have 4 by 4, which is 16. And the last one, we have 5 by 4, which is 20. So when we take 20 plus 12 plus 16, we get 48 inches squared, just as we have gotten by doing the perimeter of the base times the height. All right, so now let's take a look at number 5. Number 5, let me draw a line here to separate the two. All right, so number 5, as you can see, I also drew out a net. Actually, let's skip back up to question number 4. I found the lateral area, but I did not find the surface area. So what I need to do is the surface area equals the lateral area plus the area of the bases. All right, so we already know what the lateral area was. It's 48. So now let's find the area of those two triangles. So what I can do is, you'll see above question, or the net of question 4, I'm going to write the formula. Area equals 1/2 base times height. And then we're going to multiply it by 2 because we have two triangles that are our bases. So now underneath it, I am going to write out what I know. I know what 1/2 is, obviously, so I'll bring that down. The base of each is 4. So 1/2 times 4. Now what is the height? The height is 3. Remember, we always find the height and the base together at a right angle. All right, and then times 2. Now, there's several different ways I can do this. I get to choose what I want to make 1/2. I could make 4 into a 2. I could make 2 into a 1. I really don't want to do 1/2 of 3 because then it gives me a decimal and it doubles my integers that I have to multiply with. So I'm going to go ahead and do, let's see, 1/2 of 2, which is 1. So I basically remove that from the equation. So 4 times 3 is 12. And of course, That's my area, so it equals 12 inches squared. So I'm going to add the 12 inches squared plus the 48 inches squared, and I get 60 inches squared. So my surface area equals 60 inches squared. All right, now we can get to question 5. So question 5, we have a triangular prism. It's a prism for all exercises. Now, notice how I just zoomed out and look up here at question 8. So the reason why question 8 is a pyramid and question 5 isn't is notice how it looks like a wedge, kind of like the wedge you would put underneath for a doorstop. Okay, it doesn't come to a solid point here in the center. It's spread out over here. That's how we know it's a prism and not a pyramid. All right, so as you can see, I drew the net, and we need to find lateral area and surface area. So remember, there's a shortcut. I could do lateral area equals perimeter of the base times the height. Now, what is the perimeter of the base? Well, there's several different ways. I obviously already have it numbered out on the net to the left, but let's look at the diagram that they have and see if we can figure it out. Now, here's our triangle right here, and we can see they have the short end and the medium length end already marked, 5 inches and 12 inches, but nothing here for the hypotenuse. But over on this side, you can notice it's labeled. So we know also this side is 13. And if the bottom side is 8, this top side is 8. So now, let's go ahead and do perimeter of the base times the height. So we know the perimeter of the base is 13 plus 12 plus 5. So 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 5 is 10. Carry the 1, 1, 2, 3. And we know that the perimeter is 30. So I'm going to bring 30 up here, and I'm going to times it by the height. The height, remember, is the distance between the two bases. Here's one base, and on over here where the other 13 is the other side of the base. This is the distance in between it. So we know that 8 inches is the height of this prism. All right, and so to make 30 times 8 mental math, we can do 8 times 3 is 24, and of course add the 0 back in. So we know the lateral area equals 240. Now, as I told you before, we could also find it section by section by doing the formula area equals length times width, because we have 3 rectangles in the center. All right, so at the bottom we have 8 and 5. So 5 times 8, of course, is 40. Then we have 13 times 8. And, well, 10 times 8 is 80. 3 times 8 is 24. So 80 plus 24 is 104. And then we have 12 times 8, which, of course, is 96. So if I take 96 and I add it to 104, and I add it to 40. 6 plus 4 is 10. Carry the 1. 9 plus 1 is 10. Plus the 4 is 14. Carry the 1. And as you can see, we also got 240 right here, just as we did over on the right-hand side. All right, so now we know the lateral area. It's 240. So now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and find the surface area. And remember, the surface area, the easiest way to think of it is bases plus faces. Okay, well, we already got the faces. That's the lateral area. So now all we have to do is get the base. Now we know that the base is triangles, so area equals 1/2 base times height. All right. So now let's go ahead and fill it in. We bring down the 1/2, that hasn't changed. The base, well, if we look, remember the base and the height are always connected by a right angle. So we know either the 12 or the 5 is the base, and the other is the height. It doesn't matter which we designate it, long as we know they both originate from that right angle. So I am going to put times 12 times 5 times 2. Once again, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just make it simple for myself, and I am going to use the 1/2, and I'm going to multiply by the 12. That way we get rid of any double-digit numbers. So 1/2 of 12, of course, is 6. So 6 times 5 times 2. So now I'm going to do 5 times 2 is 10, and bring down the 6. So 6 times 10, of course, is 60. So now I'm going to add 60 to the 240. So 240 plus 60 equals 300. So I know my surface area equals 300, and that's inches squared. Hope going over these two questions helped with your homework. You guys have a good night. See you around like a donut.